Have you ever pulled a package of meat out of your refrigerator, ready to cook, and then hesitated, wondering if it was truly safe to prepare? What are the key visual and sensory signals that tell you when meat has gone bad? When meat exhibits specific undesirable changes in its appearance, texture, and aroma, it is a clear indication that it has spoiled and is unsafe for consumption. These critical signs mean it must be promptly discarded. The fundamental reason behind these telltale changes is the proliferation of various bacteria and other microorganisms. These tiny, unseen invaders feast on the proteins and fats within the meat, breaking them down through a process called decomposition. This microbial activity produces waste products that create the strong, foul odors we associate with spoilage, along with noticeable alterations in color and the development of a slimy, sticky surface. For instance, fresh raw beef should typically display a bright, cherry red hue. This vibrant color comes from a pigment called myoglobin, which reacts with oxygen. However, if you see the beef turning a dull brownish gray, it signals significant oxidation or a high level of bacterial growth, making it potentially hazardous. Similarly, fresh poultry like chicken or turkey should appear a light, healthy pink. Any shift towards yellow, green, or a murky gray is a definitive warning sign. Pork, when fresh, should be a grayish pink. Beyond color, an unmistakable foul odor often described as sour, ammoniac, or distinctly off is a powerful indicator that bacterial colonies have multiplied to dangerous levels. Finally, the texture of spoiled meat will often change dramatically, becoming noticeably slimy, sticky, or unusually firm and dry, all results of microbial enzymes altering its composition. If you identify any of these critical warning signs, it is absolutely essential to resist the urge to cook or even taste the meat, as doing so can lead to serious foodborne illness. The safest and most responsible course of action is to securely double-bag the spoiled meat in plastic and immediately place it in a tightly sealed trash can, preferably one that is emptied frequently or kept outdoors. After handling, always thoroughly clean and sanitize any surfaces, utensils, or cutting boards that may have come into contact with the suspect meat, using hot, soapy water followed by a sanitizing solution. To significantly reduce the risk of spoilage in the future, always ensure raw meat is stored correctly in the coldest section of your refrigerator, usually the bottom shelf, to prevent cross-contamination. If you do not plan to use the meat within 1 to 2 days for ground meat or 3 to 5 days for larger cuts, freeze it immediately. It is helpful to remember that while color is a primary indicator, some natural variations exist. For example, fresh vacuum-sealed red meat might initially appear a darker, purplish red because it has not been exposed to oxygen. Once the package is opened, it should bloom into a brighter red as it makes contact with air. Another interesting point is that ground meat has a larger surface area exposed to oxygen and bacteria, making it more susceptible to faster spoilage compared to a solid steak or roast. This is why vigilance is especially important with ground products. Moreover, while visual cues are important, a strong, offensive odor, rather than just a minor discoloration, remains one of the most reliable secondary checks for severe spoilage. Trust your nose as well as your eyes. By diligently observing the appearance, texture, and smell of your meat before consumption, you are taking proactive steps not only to ensure a delicious and enjoyable meal but, more critically, to safeguard your own health and the health of those you are feeding. This simple practice of trusting your senses is your most effective defense against potential foodborne illnesses and an essential skill for every home cook.